You know that it would not be appropriate of us to leave you hanging as we had previously begun the discussion on dating versus courting. And if you have not yet watched that video, we're going to leave it in the link above so that you can experience the beginning as we transition into the culmination of the whole concept of dating versus courting. In essence, we indicated to you that you should stick to the path that is right and righteous while you're on this journey in order to secure your lineage, to secure your sanity, and most of all, to secure your peace of mind. Yes, your peace of mind is important, and we want you to secure that. What we want you to understand is that people are confused with what the world purports to them. They are accepting the irresponsibility that the world is giving to them, handing to them, and then they are bearing the consequences. Amidst the chaos of determining who you are and navigating your life's direction with its whirlwind and with your friends present, some only for a season, others will be there for a longer duration of time. Things should be simple, but they are not. Then comes the point of selecting someone to have a meaningful and significant relationship with. The question comes into your mind: should I engage in dating or should I engage in courting? Depends on the choice that you make. It will determine the path that you are on, and it will determine what the end of your relationship will be. Will your relationship have a chance to come to fruition? Will it be able to come to a state in which it can develop so that you can experience the goodness that God has in store for you? But I want you to know that enough is enough. Let us not allow ourselves to any longer fall for this trick, fall for this deception that dating is a selection that we should make. I want to propose you to think, ponder on the idea of courting. The question of dating and courting develops for those who are claiming liberation, or for those who desire to join a family. In some cultures, courting is what is expected. In other cultures, dating casually is what the society dictates. The society has placed a lot of pressure on young people who are vulnerable. They have exploited them, they have placed them in such a precarious position, scamming them, robbing them, and snuffing out their future, bombarding them with high levels of sexual content, not the moral one, the immoral kind, preventing them from developing the character that they need to have a successful relationship. They usher them into quagmire like relationship, which they are not appropriately prepared or mentally equipped to conduct, but they usher them anyway. Sometimes feelings is not enough. Feelings need to be based on principles. If the process of partner selection is done with naivety, it will not only create broken individuals, but it also it transfers that broken spirits into the family. And before long, there will be a society of socially dysfunctional individuals engaging in a normalized situation in which dysfunctional relationships are the pinnacle. This is a time when many persons make the biggest mistake of their life. And sometimes they don't realize that it's a mistake they're making when they select to engage in a dating relationship. But when the end come, when there is separation, when there is divorce, when there is a tearing away, when there is a broken trust, when all these adversities come, they will realize that the choice they had made was wrong. But sometimes that time may be just too late. This is a time in which the selection process is important, especially when you are young. If the process leading up to the selections are not undertaken in accordance to sound principles, then the rate of separation will continue to increase. We don't want your relationship to end in a separation. It is possible to go through the process of selection or being selected based on family values and family ideals. Yes, that is possible. This was, in some regards, a better alternative than what we have today with the hookup culture, the going steady culture, the casual expression of intimacy. But it is because human beings have become so selfish, and selfishness and the selfish desires have overridden the consciousness. And that now is our societal norm. Understanding that these principles of happiness and a healthy relationship, you can become expectant. You can have the expectancy of that which you understand the principles towards. If you don't understand the principles of that which you are engaging in, then you will become a casualty of the engagement. It is not our intention, nor is it our desire for you to become a casualty of your relationship. Remember, the relationship was designed for your pleasure, to make you better. It should not, in any instance, make you bitter. If your relationship is hard work, it means that you are not a good fit for that situation or that circumstance. When you have to be fighting an uphill battle, it means that something is wrong. So you have to look into yourself and say, hey, this can't be right. Nobody should be struggling in their relationship like this. That is why the two need to be in alignment. The two need to be in accord so that they can experience that which is possible, that which is probable, that which is feasible, and that which needs to be done. As it relates to your future, nothing can be taken for granted. There is no going with the flow or things falling into place. Those things are myths. Those things are deception. You must with absolute certainty be diligent in your effort to reap value from the seeds that you plant. Joyousness, bliss, solemnity, contentment, holiness are some of the intended experience that will be enjoyed when the principles are invested. Dating, as is practiced today, could be likened to the depravity of the society and the social and relational problems that exist. It leads to criminal behavior and health problems, and eventually mental and emotional damage that occurs with the couples or those involved. And not to mention, we have the coupling of the acceptance of physical abuse as humiliation is experienced. Humanity is crushed and it's crashing down on a negative trajectory. The word dating was invented in the 18th century. Prior marriages were arranged and had a direct involvement and support from the family. Contrary to our practice, there was the negligible open practice of child marriages or concubinage. These practices are encouraged by the world standards of dating. So when Christians are saying they have to taste before they buy, something is wrong with that. It means that they are not following God's principle, they are following the world's principle, the world's standard. They are checking if they are sexually compatible. But the Bible did not tell us that we should check for sexual compatibility prior to engaging in a marriage relationship. We should engage in the marriage relationship, and because each individual is in alignment with the will of God, then there is inevitably the compatibility that is expected. The word courtship has been used to describe a more favorable model, if we may say that ourselves, which is more acceptable and should be used as a safeguard contrary to the dating ideology. The word dating to the innocent eye would mean simply to go out at a particular time and date for a specific activity. That is what the naive may think that dating entails. Many will justify the practice by saying that they are going on a date with their family members, they're going on dates with their friends and strangers without any wrong implication, not realizing that the presentation of dating gives rise to the illusions of its consequences, as most dates are unsupervised and are without boundaries and barriers. And these dates tend to appeal to the sexual appetite, regardless of your personal feelings. I know that this is not what everybody wants to hear. I know that this is not what the world wants to hear. But you have to hear it if you want to live in accordance to the will of God. Do not feed the monster that you wish not to live. Do not awaken the sleeping one who is able to overpower your better judgment. So, regardless of your personal feelings about dating, you should question if a romantic dating, as the world presents it, is the most efficient and effective utilization of your time. And if it is the direction or the tangent on which you desire to go on. In the Western world, in the 21st century, the census has indicated to us that 50 to 60% of marriages have one partner that is committing infidelity, which we consider to be adultery. More than 50% of these marriages will end in divorce. Research has shown that in dysfunctional family, there is an increased likelihood that the children will drop out of school, the children will have low self-esteem, the children will have early sexual encounter, and the children will go down on the similar path that the parents are currently on. Marriage rate based on the world standards has been declining. In the Western world and its society, cohabitation is the order of the day. But for people of God, certain things can't be tolerated, certain things cannot be encouraged because it reflects negatively or adversely in relation to the stewardship of your vessel. With the encouragement of dating by the world standard, it is acceptable for one to lust after a woman or a man and have a relationship without any form of attachment. This encourages individual to be unmarried and sexually active. Dating places a grossly low figure on the value of marriage, with people not realizing that these malpractices are fertilizing the destruction of the individuals and society. People everywhere are carrying the burden of the daddy issue, carrying the burden of the mommy issue, complaining about who left and who stayed, destroying their future of marriage as the world present to them an ideology that is not in their best interest. If you follow the world's standards, you can expect the diseases, you can expect the atrocities, you can expect the adversities that the world has. A person who understands his or her own origin, is or her own worth, his or her own purpose, will seek to exercise the will of the originator. Not in some aspects of their life, in all aspects of their life. Unnecessary attention is placed on the consequences of action, while people fail to understand the process of the result. The relationship develops along the aging cycle are defined in a different category. They have different quality, and some exist only for a season. In following the manual and learning and understanding from the miscalculation of others, one is poised for regret minimization. I don't want you to have regrets in your relationship. I want you to be in a position where you can think logically, think rationally. What is in your best interests? Synonymous with dating is the word fornication, sexual immorality, and lust. That is what the culture presents when they talk about dating. And this is embraced by many persons professing to be Christians and persons professing to be of the world. Most only go on date for a sexual release or to fulfill a fantasy. Going on dates with a person who are unknown or who has less than a pure intention can be dangerous. Is that a venture that you want to pursue? The modern atmosphere encourages people to present a false impression of who they are, to present a facade of a plan, to present the illusion of their intention, to deceive. You have to attract, you have to select, you have to be wise enough to know truth from error. It is our desire that your relationship is one that prospers. But in order to guarantee that it will prosper, it has to be built on the foundations of God. The culture presents the depravity, and it has created a shortfall. There are three areas that the culture fails in. Three areas the culture, the society fails in. We have the culture. Most people, young, old, engage in dating because it appears to be the normative way or pattern for short-term relationship. Then we have sex. That is a predominantly confronting many of us, whether we want to embrace it or whether we don't want to embrace it. It is right there in the advertisement. Then we have the relational aspect. The current generation has been influenced to believe that urgent is a need for interaction with the opposite sex, and our generation has gone so wayward that they find it a joy to interact in a romantic relationship with the same, based on the Hollywood ideologies. So, based on what we feed our mind on, we become akin to it. God doesn't want us to engage in certain practices, and we cannot be supporting certain behavior patterns. If we are supporting certain behavior pattern, it means that we are in agreement with it. So we have to be mindful as to guard the very avenues of our soul. What is it that you want to come into your mind? Is it that you want something that is bittersweet? Or is it that you want something that is sweet bitter? The choice is yours. We present to you the idea of courting. When we consider courting, what happens is that in the start of the relationship, lust and infatuation can be debilitating to its success. In this relationship, there is the acceleration process in which the end is already known as to the intention. One engage in a courting relationship with the intention of joining together with another, not just getting together with someone to have a moment in time. We have to exercise wisdom in our relationship endeavors to safeguard both parties from being hurt. Because what you will realize is that hurt people tend to hurt other people, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I don't want you to be hurt. And if you are hurt, there's a high likelihood that you are going to hurt someone else. And I don't want you to be captivated in that cycle of hurting for hurt, because that is no good to anyone. Relationships that are started outside of the principle of God will, guess what, eventually lead to despair. The way the devil presents himself is that he presents a facade, just like in the Garden of Eden, that, hey, this fruit is good for food. But was it good for food? This fruit will open your eyes, but did her eyes become open? Did she know good and evil? You will not surely die. Did she really die? So when truth and error are intertwined, the whole mixture becomes error. And for that reason, we have to safeguard ourselves against the errors, against the follies that exist. I want to help you to understand that I know that being young, I know that being impressionable, I know that having the vigor and the vitality, and you want to go forward, you want to pursue that which is in the desire of your heart. You want to pursue all of that. But your relationship is important. And your relationship can set you up for success and or set you up for destruction. I surely hope that you are positioning yourself for a relationship that will give you success. I don't want you to have failed relationship. I don't want you to be another member of the world's statistics. The worldly participants will focus on the sensual nature to receive all that they can in the shortest amount of time possible. For this reason, people move towards the home run on the first encounter, which is outside the parameters of the covenant that the originator gave to us. Can you imagine someone going on a date with your husband, and on the first date they're giving him favors that he did not require or request? That there is not something that you desire. So why would you give someone something that is not belonging to them? I want you to ask yourself and rationalize with yourself so as you can come to a logical decision, not just based on feelings, but based on principle. A desire to get is what the world teaches. The world, everybody just wants. But in a courting relationship, there is a giving relationship. The man gives of himself to the woman because he does not belong to himself, he belongs to the woman. And the woman gives wholeheartedly everything that she has to the man. So in that situation, I give unto you, you give unto me. So you are filled, I am filled. And in that relationship, there is a synergy. There is a complemental relationship or complementary relationship that exists. And when both parties are complementing each other, the twisting and the oneness of the intertwining becomes more evident. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone that is going to give you trouble, someone that is going to perplex you, someone that is going to cause you to have nightmares. You don't want to have those kind of relationship. So what I am going to say to you is that at the process initiation, in which a suitable partner has been identified, has been spotted, has made the move into selection, and you have made yourself available, I want you to first spend some time and seek after the counsel of God. The searching should begin only with a godly conversation. This means that purity in communication and deportment should be the springboard of your relationship, so as to avoid the corruption or the corruptibility that exists, the corrupt desires that exist. One should develop the prerequisite maturity to be able to consider not only oneself, but also the needs of others. If you're a selfish person, you have no business being in a relationship. If you don't want to submit, if you don't want to serve as a woman, you should not seek after a man. You should not even allow a man to select you. You should not even present yourself in the presence of a man. for such a purpose. You should isolate yourself and get to know yourself, get to know your Lord and Savior so that He can change and transform you. And when you have become so humble, so broken, and then so restored to the point that you are willing to go out and serve, then you can make yourself available to be the wife you were meant to be. The spirit of discernment needs to be evident for a woman that is positioned to receive unto herself a husband. Because not all persons who are husbands are husbands. Not all of them are husbands. Not all of them are suitable candidates based on the principles of God. But if you allow yourself to be selected by someone that is not suitable, it speaks volume of your character and your integrity. One fundamental recommendation is to understand that there is no one who knows the product better than the manufacturer. The product can only have a guarantee and a warranty if it is used in accordance with the specification and if the necessary maintenance protocols are enforced. If the principle is observed and each individual becomes one with the maker, only the expected outcome will be seen. Hence, love is fundamental in the relationship. If we recall the passage of scripture in 1 John 4 and verse 8, it says, "He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love." It is so. It's not my words, it's the words that come from the Bible. It is in the reciprocation, let's call it that, of love that has been given by God to us. When we can give that to someone else, it demonstrates our connection to our Maker and our King. Did you know that the way a woman treats her husband is a reflection of the relationship she has with God? Let that sink in. So if a woman is boisterous, if a woman is vindictive, if a woman is defiant, it is an indicator as to the relationship she has with her Maker and her King. Any relationship that you engage in should be one that brings you closer to the Creator. If the relationship creates a break in communion or in communication with your Maker and your King, if it creates a deficit, then there needs to be an adjustment or even a discontinuation. Putting something or someone above your originator is actually idolatry. If you desire the company of a particular person more than you want the company of your Maker and your King, that there is a red flag. If you prefer the fancy house, the fancy car, you prefer material possession more than your Creator, that there is another red flag. If you lose control and become addicted to what pleasures your appetite, that there is a red flag. Once the red flags are observed, it is time for an introspection. Man, oh man, though sometimes it is more difficult to see what it is that is in front of us with our own eyes. In keeping the commandments of God, we will display love and affection. With human interactions and relationship, you should ensure that you're not in a state in which you are compromised. You should prevent the introduction of seduction. You should prevent the introduction of loss. You should prevent the introduction of infatuation. There is no other foundation on which to build but on the rock of all ages. I submit to you that if you want your relationship to work, if you want your marriage to work, you have to operate in accordance to the will of God. This message is for people in the world who believe that they are having struggles in their relationship. This message is for people who want to get married. This message is for people who profess to be Christians, followers of Christ. Sometimes you may think that you are something, but when an introspection and examination is conducted, it reveals to us that you are not the thing that you thought that you were. Because by your fruits you shall know them. I want you to note that marriage should not be the end all be all. If you're getting into a relationship, marriage should be a product of the invested time, effort, overcoming of the temptation, adversity. Yes, marriage is a part of it, but getting married is not the end all being all. The process of blooming in marriage is something that needs to be talked about. I want you to just reflect on the reason, the rationale why it is not ideal for people who believe in God, people who are mentally stable, to engage in a dating relationship, because a dating relationship is not built on any principles that God has. A dating relationship is not even in your best interest. A dating relationship does not guarantee, or there does not even need to be an intention to take you seriously. A dating relationship may never end, in most instances, in a marriage. What a dating relationship does is creates an opportunity for the devil to play on the chords or the strings of individuals' guitars. The dating relationship allows individuals to fall in the snares of the devil because it is a trap that has been set up for people of God and people in the world, but more so people of God. So as people of God, we have to know the truth, and not only know the truth, but live in accordance to the will thereof. The world standard is of the flesh, but the standard of God is of the spirit. The flesh is carnal, but the spirit of God is not. I want you to avoid three main things: the lust of the eyes, the pride of life, and idolatry. I want to leave also with you a simplified process as you go on this journey. I want to add as much value to you, but I know that we are almost coming to the end of this sitting. The simplified process that we came up with was: number one, know your creator. Number two, understand yourself. So you're going to understand who you are, whose you are, where you were derived, your purpose, and your focus. Number three, you are going to become one in love as you become whole. Because if you are apart, you need to become a whole before you can move into a relationship. You're going to number four, prayerfully seek after that which is required. If you want a man of God, you are going to pray for the man of God. And you're going to number five, expect that which you prayed for. So you're going to expect the verify approval. Sometimes you have people coming into your life looking like Mr. Right, but is not Mr. Righteous. And Mr. Righteous is the one that you desire. Number six, you are going to allow the principles to take precedence over your sensual desires. I know that sometimes principles are nowhere to be found, but for you, principles have to take precedence. And number seven, you're going to unite and become one in spirit under the authority of God. With this template, there is no need to have complicated relationship. Invest in ventures that align with your purpose. I hope that this sitting was enough encouragement to let you know that the way of God is the right way. The way of the Maker, the way of our King, is the best way. And there is no other way better than this way. With that said, this is Kareem Ainsley, the wife lifestyle strategist, encouraging you to be the wife you were meant to be. Until we meet again.